All right, so today we're going to talk about how we do long division using the standard algorithm. And the question that I always ask myself when I do long division is, does McDonald's sell burgers? Now, I don't know about y'all, but I love me a good McDonald's burger. So I just like to think about McDonald's while I do math. It's my two favorite things. Now, there is a point to me thinking about McDonald's. Each of those letters and does McDonald's sell burgers helps me remember the steps to long division. But before we talk about those steps, we got to talk about the things that make up a division problem. So you guys will hear me call this our division house all the time. And there are three numbers that are part of our division house. The number that goes on the inside of our division house is what we call the dividend. Hope I spelled that right. The number that goes on the outside of the house is what we call our divisor. And the number that goes on top of the house that has a party on the roof is called the quotient. So the quotient is always the answer to our division problem. This is what we're looking to find. But we have the dividend, the divisor, and the quotient. So let's say I have an example problem and I'm going to do 873 divided by, 6. Okay, so in this problem, 873 is my dividend, 6 is the divisor, and I'm looking for the quotient. Okay, so when I divide, I take this one step at a time, and I always start with the biggest place value inside of the dividend. So that would be the number 8. And the first question I ask is does, which math term stands for divide. So I need to figure out, can I fit 6 into 8? Can 8 be divided by 6? And the answer is yes. 6 can go into 8 a total of 1 time. So I put a 1 above the place value where I'm currently solving. So I've done step 1. I've done the dividing part. Step 2, when we think about McDonald's, is we need to multiply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the number I got on top of the house, the beginning of my quotient, times the divisor. So 1 times 6 would give me 6. So I'm going to write that still in line with that place value. The S stands for subtract. So I'm going to subtract 8 minus 6, which gives me 2. And the B stands for bring down. So I need to bring down the next number, which would be 7. And then I start the whole process over again, but this time I'm looking at the number 27. And so I ask myself, okay, let's divide. Can 6 go into 27? And the answer is yes. 6 goes into 27 a total of 4 times. Then we're going to multiply. 4 times 6 gives me 24. I'm going to subtract. So I have 7 minus 4, which gives me 3. 2 minus 2 would give me 0. Last step, bring down. So now I need to bring down the 3. And then again, I start the whole process again. But now I'm looking at, can 6 go into 33? The answer is yes. 33 divided by 6 would give me about 5. I'm going to multiply. 5 times 6 would give me 30. I'm going to subtract. 33 minus 30 gives me 3. But I don't have anything else to bring down. I've reached the end of my problem. I've used all my numbers in the dividend, which means that I have what we call a remainder of 3. So the answer, the quotient to the problem 873 divided by 6 is going to be 145 remainder 3. All right, let's do another one together. I'm going to slide myself on down. Let's do the number 5,872 divided by 4. Sure, that sounds great. I'm going to zoom in. All right, here we go. So step number 1 is I need to do 4 divided by 5. Or excuse me, I said that backwards. 5 divided by 4. 4 goes into 5 a total of 1 time. Then I'm going to multiply. 1 times 4 gives me 4. We're going to subtract. 5 minus 4 gives me 1. And then bring it down. So again, does McDonald's sell burgers? 4 will now go into 18 a total of 4 times. Let's multiply. 4 times 4 gives me 16. I'm going to subtract. 18 minus 16 gives me 2. And then bring down the 7. And then we start all over again. Does McDonald's sell burgers? 4 goes into 27 a total of 6 times. 6 times 4 gives me 24. And when I subtract, 27 minus 24 gives me 3. And then bring down the 2. And again, start all over. Oop, that's a 2, not an 8. Hello. There we go. And then we start all over again. So 4 goes into 32 a total of 8 times. Oh, that's why I wrote the 8. It goes in a total of 8 times. Multiply. 8 times 4 gives me 32. When I subtract, I get 0, and there's nothing else for me to bring down, and I have no remainder this time. So my answer to 5,872 divided by 4 gives me a quotient of 1,468. We're going to do one more together. I'm going to slide this way. Let's say I have the problem 3,452, and I'm going to divide it by 8. Okay, so first step, does McDonald's sell burgers? So I have 3 divided by 8, but 8 doesn't fit into 3 at all. So that does not work. So I either put an X above it or a 0 above it. I'm actually going to go with the 0 this time. But I don't just give up and go, oh, well, I guess I can't do it. I just include the next number with it. So I'm going to start, well, can 8, if it can't go into 3, can it go into 34? And the answer is yes, 8 does go into 34 a total of 4 times. 4 times 8 is going to give me 32. When I subtract, 34 minus 32 gives me 2. Bring down the 5. And then I start all over again. 8 goes into 25 a total of 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. When I subtract, 25 minus 24 gives me 1. And then I bring down the 2. And then my last step here again, start the process over again. 8 goes into 12 a total of just 1 time. 1 times 8 is 8. And when I subtract, 12 minus 8 gives me 4. But I have nothing else to bring down, so I get a final answer of 431, remainder